Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, I am just absolutely disappointed when it comes to Xbox. Now, for some odd reason, and I'm not trying my best to do this as my YouTube channel, there's been a lot of really bad negative things in regards to both Microsoft and Xbox these past few months. Now, we've been seeing a lot of bad takes, a lot of bad things happening, and we covered up a lot of the layoffs that actually plagued up the entire gaming system. Like we know Halo developers, Forza developers, and a lot of other various people involved in Game Pass, etc., got laid off and part of the big 10,000 folk layoff these past few days at Microsoft. But now there's something that's involved that Microsoft and AK also Xbox did that is probably one of the most disappointing things I think I've seen so far when it comes to this kind of early base recession and kind of somewhat looming mediocre economy. And when it comes to me covering this news and channel stuff like that, I'm always a big proponent of developers deserve good rights and people deserve good pay and people should be able to go play video games and a lot of that kind of just generic stuff that I would hope most normal people could agree to. And this one makes me very disappointed to go and cover. So this one is going to especially be giving your thoughts and comments down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed after the video is all done. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below. We have Target links down below. We have Amazon links down below. And let's go be a little bit upset because, well, I am kind of upset. So if you guys kind of missed it, as I mentioned, through these past few days, we've heard of a lot of really big layoffs coming from Microsoft, which is the parent company of Xbox. And of course, that also does include a lot of Xbox folks. So basically, we've even covered this as of yesterday, where a lot of ex-Halo developers were slamming incompetent leadership. People were losing their jobs. People were moving to different parts of Microsoft. But basically, there was just a lot of folks that were very not happy. Like a good example over here is management at Halo Infinite developers 343 Industries have come under fire from former staffers after the studio was reportedly hit hard by Wednesday's large-scale layoffs at Microsoft too. So we've been seeing this stuff. We know this is ongoing. And with all this going on, we had this news pop up, which makes me so utterly disappointed to even cover this news. So we can see, you guys can just read the title. Microsoft held an invite-only Steam concert for all the executives in Davos the day before the company announced layoffs of over 10,000 employees, and this is also in regards to a lot of hiring freezes and as well just a lot of big issues. That's rough. If I was currently working at Microsoft or Xbox and I try to put my absolute heart on my sleeve to make sure Halo or Forza or Game Pass is successful, and I gotta go and see someone like Phil Spencer and all these other folks trying their best to make sure that everyone's safe and taken care of, and then I see this news as I get a layoff email, I would be so livid. Now, I'm not really sure why. I mean, maybe other companies do this. Maybe PlayStation, Nintendo have done kind of sketchy things too. So I'm just not sure why Xbox has been having so many bad takes and bad things happen. But for this, I mean, obviously because of Xbox, it's not only Xbox, Microsoft's just the parent company as well, but this is just disappointing. So basically, the kind of highlights for this one is Microsoft held a private Steam performance this week, the Wall Street Journal reported. The tech giant's executives attended the concert, which took place on Tuesday, per the report. Microsoft announced that on Wednesday, the literal day after, that it would be laying off over 10,000 employees. Now, I'm not really sure what you guys care. It's not really necessarily an Xbox console or a PlayStation console thing. It's more about the parent company and kind of more against the big higher up executives blowing through millions of dollars on bonuses, on private concerts, and then literally the next exact day have to go and send emails and do public Zooms to basically lay off employees. 10,000 employees is a lot of money. But so is a private Steam concert where you're having private concerts with your buddies literally the night before. This is literally you just came back, you're the CEO, you came back from a party binge where you're drinking at the club, and then literally the next day you're hungover, you're barely awake, and you're trying to be yo, Jim, sorry, buddy, you gotta go home. This is just so disappointing to go and see. I mean, you guys might disagree, I don't know, maybe I have a bad take, I don't mind. Microsoft executives experienced a private Steam performance in Davos on Tuesday, according to a report in the Wall Street Journal, the day before the tech giant disclosed plans to lay off 10,000 employees. The event was an intimate gathering of 50 people or so. It must have been very private and intimate, according to the journal's report. It took place as the Swiss resort destination is hosting business leaders for its annual World Economic Forum. It was the next day that Microsoft's chief executive officer Satya Nadella told employees about the company's plan to cut some 10,000 jobs, which they were trying to go make it less chill, be like, oh, it's like only 5%, only 10,000 people. It's not that big. We have 200,000 people at Microsoft of its overall headcount coming in the cover the coming months. Now, I do want to go give them a little bit because I'm kind of harping on this either way because it is rough. I think there is usually pretty decent severance packages, and I don't think Microsoft's hanging them like too out to dry. We do know that Microsoft is not the world's worst place, and overall, like, is good. Like, they're not like the devil, for some companies might be bad, but I just think this is an awful thing to come out. Like, this is just, it's the timing of it. If this was like a month ago and then you had the layoffs, yeah, I'd maybe mention it in a video, maybe in passing. This is so awful that it's literally like a few hours later. Like, you're literally out there drinking expensive booze, partying, having a private concert, and then you're literally over here then laying off people the next day. Like, it's like, I hope I don't sound crazy or like one of those like weird, like, capitalism's awful. Like, you know what I mean? But well, this is rough. The senior leadership team and I are committed that as we go through this process, we will do so in the most thoughtful and transparent way possible, he wrote in a blog post on Wednesday. Microsoft, which was considering a $10 billion investment in ChatGPT's maker OpenAI, per some more, would also still hire in key strategic areas, according to Niall's posts. So they're okay dropping $69 billion on Activision. They're okay dropping potentially $10 billion into other investments. And I'm sure these executives are not losing money. I'm sure there's still going to be a lot of big bonuses being paid out here. And then right afterwards, after they have their private concerts, they go and lay off another 10,000 people. Now, once again, this is not like the biggest Xbox thing, but I do want to say this was affecting the gaming side of Microsoft a lot. Like, I mean, that's why I literally showed you guys. Like, we're seeing all these big studios and people over here that were like, they were just messed up by these same managers. Like, literally, like, people are like, the people I worked every day were passionate about Halo and wanted to make something great for fans. They helped push for a better Halo and then got laid off for it. So even as the gaming industry as a whole, and we're seeing other layoffs too, like we're seeing journalism even as of now, I think, like, and we're hearing the stuff, like all these people that are writers and freelance writers and all this stuff with these big tech layoffs, and it's heartbreaking to see the gaming scene kind of get shattered so much. You know what I mean? Like, they're still saying like the leadership team, for the actual team itself was great, but then they were also want to go and put the blame at the door for senior management, Microsoft, and all the leaders responsible for Halo Infinite's campaign. So we're hearing this that they keep on even blaming themselves on these higher ups that were trying to fill up games like Halo with microtransactions and all these awful deals and everything all in between. And even then still, they're now laying off all these folks. Representatives for Microsoft didn't immediately respond to insiders' email request for comment on Thursday morning. Pop stars have commanded handsome fees for private shows, with performers like Sting charging between $100,000 to $500,000 per virtual event during the early months of COVID, and according to 2020. So it's probably a lot of money as well, especially if this is Microsoft themselves fronting the bill and working with all these other folks. Microsoft planned cuts to the latest slew of, are basically him that's like workers in the tech and finance industries, because Microsoft just doesn't want to have all these employees. Earlier this month, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy said it plans to lay off some 18,000 employees, while Salesforce also announced anticipated layoffs of around 10%. We're hearing news about Amazon laying off, Goldman Sachs doing layoffs, and everything else all in between as well, just ahead of this bonus season. So I'm sure you guys can understand why I'm upset, because we had them basically go and lock down Halo the best they could, and at the same time, a lot of these like passionate devs kept on saying that they couldn't go and do the changes they needed to. There was contracts that weren't renewed for folks that were really committed towards Halo. They wasted hundreds of millions of dollars on Halo itself, and all these other very small subsidiaries of these Xbox studios have been getting affected. But as well, we're also seeing these Microsoft executives dropping like probably a few $1 million on an overall party to then just go and lay off everyone the next day. Like, I hope I'm not sounding crazy or like super anti-capitalism or whatever it might be, because I just think this is such a bad take and a bad move. And once again, like, I'll probably put Xbox on the title because I'm more of a console channel, and it is still Xbox. I could guarantee you some Xbox executives were probably at these parties. I'm sure Phil Spencer, I'm actually not sure if he's there or not, I'll just throw him in there because, like, why not? We got the angst anyway. But like someone like a Phil Spencer sitting over there drinking some expensive bourbon, as then people on his team are getting laid off literally the next day. And I'm sure these executives all knew, because this is not something that you don't lay off 10,000 folks just out of the spur of the blue. There takes approval, there takes regulatory approval, severance package approval, HR approval, and everything else in between, especially if there's other teams, because you also have to make sure that the projects can still continue with all these individual layoffs. So this is just sad news. No one likes seeing people lose their jobs, but just the way they did this just seems so smug and so kind of gross. And Sting, he's not that bad. It's not that good either, you know? I don't know. Anyway, if you guys want to subscribe, feel free to. Give me your thoughts and comments down below. Hopefully I'm okay with being upset on this one. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below if you guys want to follow. Amazon links, Target links, How links, and all that other stuff too as well. All down below. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.